Alright, I'm going to go ahead and run our Python function here. We want to go from 0 to 5 and 0.5 increments. And there it is. So here's our function. Here's the domain, I guess I should say. And here's our function f of x equal to x squared minus 3. So you can kind of plug some numbers in and see what we get. If we plug 1 in, 1 squared minus 3 is negative 2. Now you notice, or you're going to notice here shortly, that the decimal point is going to be rounded at most to 3, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. But so this is our output, and this could be very useful. Okay, I was going to mention something about a module in Python, but I think I'll hold off on that. Alright, so this is what we want to construct. This is the goal right here. So I've got the code here already typed out. I think it just saves time when I do that. I don't know if it really helps you out any or not. Here's our parameters, A, L, and S, and I just picked some letters out. S kind of means step, and I don't know, I just kind of picked those off the top of my head. But this thing right here is called an array. Sorry, it's not an array. In JavaScript it's an array, but in Python we call this a list. Now of course you notice this is an empty list. This is where we're going to store elements of our domain in. I'm starting with c is equal to -1, and that's for a good reason. Taking the difference of L, if for example if we went from 0 to 10, this would be 10 minus 0 is 10, and then of course if this is 0.5 goes into 10, well, 5 times, so that's going to end up being b is 5, and so we should end up going to or there should be 5 elements, I believe, 0 to 10. I don't know. Anyway, we are incrementing it by 1 here, of course, and what this means is we're going to plug 1 into the function, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Now this right here, okay, in the sketch on the board, this would be our y is equal to 0.5x. Let me just go back to the board. Okay, that's actually this piece here, but I don't have a plus number on the end of it. We just got this piece here. Okay, so let's see if you can figure that out, right? So S, which is the step, like if this was 0.5, we would plug 0.5 in here, and this would be X. Okay, and it depends on where we start. If we started at 0, then you just have y is equal to 0.5x, but if we start at 1, then we need to add 1 to this. This piece right here is actually the part that's going to do the rounding. This says at 3 decimal places, so we're going to round, and it won't be any more than 3 decimal places. You're going to see this thing cut off at like 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places and wonder why that is, but it shouldn't get any higher than 3 decimal places. Float, this actually becomes a string, what's called a string, and so we want to turn that number back into, or we want to turn that string back into a number, and we're going to do that by putting float here because we're going to have some decimal numbers here, and so we would say float and then y, and I'm just assigning that to be z here. And then append means, what append is, D up here is our list, and what append does, this method, it takes that and tucks it into the list. So this just doesn't, all this does is put it into the list. That's all it does, places it into the list. And of course we're going to return the list. And let's just go ahead and run. Let's run this. I call it DOM for domain, but let's just go ahead and run that. So DOM 1 to 5.5. And as you can see here, this is our domain, printed out as